Is double time the blue perk? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, two things for those of you who don't know. Number one, don't get mad, Tanner. Number one, okay, when you go into the perk menu and you're like hovering over like a blue perk, there is a button that says more info and it'll give you more info. Because every perk has like additional benefits that most of you probably don't know about because you've never pressed this button. Read a menu. So the question here is double time worth it or is EOD too good? And now let me explain what double time is. Double time is a blue perk. I believe it either double. Yeah, no, I know what it is. It doubles the amount of time you can tack sprint before you run out of it. So you can effectively tack sprint for twice as long. And if you press the more info button, you will learn. What will you learn, Tanner? Do you know?
It increases your crouch movement speed.
Did you just look it up? You did. You cunt.
No,
you did.
I didn't look it up.
It increases your crouch movement speed by, I think it's, what is it, 30%?
Why would you think that? Yeah, 30%.
30%, yeah. Which is,
according to what I remember from when I looked at it last in game, because I didn't look it up just now.
Well, for sure, keep that in mind. So right now, vehicles are taken out of Warzone because there's some bug where you can crash a whole server with a vehicle, so they took them out. So double time seems to be even more enticing when there are no vehicles because you have to run everywhere. But let's assume that's not the case. Let's assume vehicles are in and it's largely normal. Is double time worth it? Maybe for Warzone? And as even if it's not worth it, how impactful do you think an extra 30% crouch movement speed could be in general and in Warzone, Tanner?
So, okay, I'll come out and say it, guys. I lied, okay? I looked it up. I didn't know it increased your crouching movement speed by 30%.
Okay.
That's a large benefit, but I'm trying to think how that would actually tie into Warzone and actually be that good. I'm trying to think of like how often I crouch.
Well, what I'm thinking about, the only benefit.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Double time combined with restock if you're rushing more. Because if you have crouching movement speed and somebody's in a building, you could crouch walk through it a lot quicker, get up behind them, get an easy kill.
And I feel the like reason you crouch walk is to be super quiet. That's what I was thinking as well, yeah.
And so, and that kind of ties in with running restock, even like playing more aggressive like that. So I think that's what my answer comes down to is if you're not going to play aggressive, then double time isn't worth it. I don't think it's really worth running either way because EOD is too strong. 90% of people in Verdansk have a C4. They're going to drop it on you and blow you up. So you need EOD. It is extremely important. But again, if you're going for high kill games or something, I think double time is something that would benefit you. Because if you're trying to get up to a building real fast, because you're chasing somebody on the staircase, you could actually catch up to them if you're running double time. Things like that. You could cut people off. You see entering a building or something like that, or get somewhere to be able to get that kill quicker than they can, just because you have double time. But I just think EOD is way too strong and useful in Warzone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like most of these perks aren't bad. It's just there are like a few select perks that are just almost completely necessary to run.
Exactly.
Like double time is a great perk. Yeah, it sounds great on paper, right? But it's like, well, when it's in the category with EOD, it's kind of hard to run it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go pee. You give your answer. I'll be right.
Okay, go ahead. So for me, boy, it's not that simple. So number one, we talked about the crouch thing, right? You can potentially push buildings better. I actually don't know how much faster 30% crouch movement speed would be. Because I don't know how fast you move crouched without it. So I don't know if adding 30% is like that significant. Because 30% of whatever, fucking 10 miles an hour is 3 miles an hour. Which is not great, probably. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. But even if the crouch walking movement speed is totally irrelevant, which it very well could be, having double the attack sprint time, that would be really good more often than you would probably think at first. Because there are a lot of times, dude, where you get caught in like a shit position and you see cover pretty close to you and you want to get there. And if you can get behind that wall or get behind that rock, you're totally fine. If you could only get there in time. And if it's a distance where you wouldn't be able to attack sprint the whole way without double time, but you would be able to with double time, because double time literally doubles the length of time in meters that you could be attack sprinting, which is a lot faster movement speed. That could be really fucking valuable, actually. And of course, you just move around the map faster too, which is like a quality of life kind of thing. If you're trying to outrun like a first circle or gas in general, more attack sprint time is good too. Because it's not like you're always in a vehicle. And in fact, in the most sticky situations, you're not in a vehicle. So being able to just move, not necessarily faster, but move your fastest more often or for a longer duration of time is actually really fucking good. Now, of course, Tanner brings up an excellent point, which is EOD is fucking nuts. Really good. It reduces explosive damage by actually quite a lot. So, you know, it's good. But at the same time, when I really think about it, here's the thing. In an average Warzone map, I would get benefit out of double time 5 times as often as I would get benefit out of EOD. However, in the cases where I would get benefit out of EOD, that is very likely going to be the difference between life and death. Whereas with double time, it's not always going to be it. Double time is not as often, probably, but maybe not, the difference between life and death as EOD is.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I'd never thought about that, because you're right. I mean, I'm running around the majority of the time when I'm in Verdansk. So double time does come in handy way more often, but it's like the one time I don't have EOD, I'm going to get C4'd and I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
And then the game's going to be over.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like, I'm like, oh, great. Double time is working out great. I'm getting to all these areas super quick. You know, I'm crouch walking everywhere, lightning fast. I'm crab walking, you know, just sprinting. And, but yeah, once I have a C4 land on my feet, I'm fucking gone.
I think
I'm in the gulag.
Yeah, I think it would have to. I think we would have to like run it for a while and see how often double time saves our lives versus EOD. Because there are definitely times where it's like, if I had double time, I would have gotten around that cover, that piece of cover in time, and I wouldn't be dead. So having EOD is useless. That scenario exists, and it's not terribly uncommon, probably.
Yeah.
So we would have to compare how often that's the case versus how often not having EOD or having it is the difference between life and death as well. But I don't think it's as black and white as you might think at first.
Yeah. Let's say I'm actually very glad you brought that up now.
Thanks for checking out this clip of the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, because in addition to clips like this one, we also have full episodes of the podcast on the channel, as well as gameplay breakdowns and more. The show is streamed live on twitch.tv/Razinon every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So give us a follow over there, make sure to turn on notifications, and you can chat with us live during the podcast. And of course, we are available wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for the Dropshot on your favorite podcast app and make sure to give us a follow. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. And as always, remember, stay humble.